Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn making a sextile or trine to the natal ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing is this could be very auspicious for the father or older people, impacting your outlook on life in a very positive manner. This could be very positive for making a good first impression with authority figures, with older people. This is also positive, I think, for the physical body, taking on responsibilities with a lot of maturity. I mean, of course, this is also important to look at the house that this transit is taking place from to your ascendant. I mean, let's say you have transit Saturn making a sextile to your natal ascendant from your 11th house. This could be good perhaps for dealings with perhaps older friends, older acquaintances that may impact your outlook on life in a very positive manner. I mean, that is one example I'm giving. Also, I think too, this is good, like if you're a person in authority in terms of delegating responsibilities to subordinate workers, you may know more instinctively what strengths and weaknesses each one have, and who can do what kind of job the best. This could be very propitious and positive. Let's say you have this transit, let's say Saturn and the ascendant are both in fire signs. You can have, this could be good for somebody in sports. In that example, if the ascendant and Saturn are both in fire signs, if you have transit Saturn making a sextile or trine to your natal ascendant, and they're both in the ascendant and Saturn both in fire signs, well, it could be good for some people that are in sports, like management, I should say, like perhaps a coach, a head coach, or a manager of a sports team. Could be very positive for knowing really who can do what what person is best at one position in the sport and on the team. So anyway, this is also positive, I think, for being more premeditative before acting. It's really a lot less about foolhardy, audacious moves. It's really, I mean, this is similar to transit Saturn making a conjunction to the natal ascendant, but not the exact same thing. The transit Saturn to the natal ascendant could really be more about strongly repressing, restricting the physical body from doing many things, and it could be about holding yourself back and not taking action. And where I think when you have transit Saturn making a sextile or trine to your natal ascendant, this is about more judicious type moves with the physical body. It's really about understanding and being cognizant of restrictions and limitations of the body, of what you're able to do physically, about your vitality, and being able to work around it, so to speak. This could be very positive, say, for somebody that's doing something that's taking a long time, that has certain longevity, so to speak, that things that are time consuming, because I think it gives a really strong innate ability perhaps to be able to pace oneself. So this is also very positive, I think, for incorporating pragmatism and practicality into the outer demeanor. And I think too, this could be very good in terms of having rapport with the father, if applicable, and older people, authority figures, about them, about great compatibility during this time with them. And I think what you're projecting outwardly, depending on the ascendant, those people could be very strongly looking at your positive attributes. Say if it's somebody that has a Taurus ascendant, well, the people that are looking at that, what people I just described before, they could be looking at the strong, persistent qualities, the persevering qualities, the stability of Taurus, being very calm and composed. Those are the really good qualities of Taurus, as opposed to looking at the negative attributes or traits. Now, it's also interesting. I mean, when I look at this, I thought it was funny. One time somebody had asked me, they said, Edwin, I have this transit Saturn making a trine to my natal ascendant from the 5th house. And this person told me that he was on some kind of probation or some kind of parole. And he said, is this a good aspect for me given these circumstances that I have? I said, well, I think it could be positive because firstly, you look when Saturn is in the transit, Saturn's in the 5th house right there, that could prohibit and restrict some kind of fun and enjoyment. If you're in a situation, of course, you're on parole or probation, you're obviously going to be a little hindered in the fun and enjoyment department. And given the fact that it's making a trine to the natal ascendant can show that you could be a lot more judicious and prudent in your actions. You're going to be apt less to be foolhardy or do things that are foolhardy or audacious. So in that sense, I said to him, hey, it sounds like it's a good aspect for you, but of course you've got to look at other aspects in your chart and see there's contraindicators by transits especially. So anyway, really, I mean, this is also doing things, I think it's really about taking on the responsibilities with a lot of maturity during this time and being very serious in what you're doing. I mean, this is really about very positive for taking precautions with the physical body, I believe. And if you're starting, I mean, the 1st house is also about new beginnings. So it can be a time where you might it's positive for at least the formulation of new beginnings for yourself, because Saturn could be about very strong, premeditation. As you know, it rules Capricorn and Aquarius, but as far as ruling Capricorn is, I think, could very well be the most premeditative sign of the zodiac. And a lot of that is because Saturn is ruled by Saturn. And it's about being the taskmaster, and it could also be very positive for that, for really being that taskmaster during this time. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for transit Saturn making a sextile or trine to the natal ascendant. Stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about transit Saturn making a square in conjunct or opposition to the natal ascendant. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.